So as Heidi was saying, she was committed to getting out of bed in the morning. I'm committed to getting done on time to get you all back in bed, so we can start the whole process over. So what do y'all think of that? Yeah! What down is it? So, my life changed forever when I started realizing that my life was not controlled by conditions, by circumstances, by events, or by other people. You don't have to look far to see some of life's tremendous joys and opportunities. But right around the corner, you see these adversities that life, and they just keep coming at you. Most people have some different characteristics that have these different adversities in life. Some can be fairly meaningless, these everyday hassles. Maybe a flat tire coming to work. Maybe they're major, they're traumatic. Maybe there's a death in the family. There's an adversity that you're like, how do I handle this? Or like a phone call that I got in November from my wife, and she says, our daughter just was in a car accident. And of course, you're going to say, is she okay? She says, I don't know, I'm on my way to the hospital. I'm 60 miles away watching my son play hockey. And she says, I don't know, but I guess she flew out of the sunroof of a car on the frontage road. Key moment. Adversity. How am I going to respond to that? The way that we respond to these key moments in large measure determine our personal effectiveness, our quality of our life, it's our happiness. How do we respond to these things? I was thankful that my daughter was okay. She was pretty beat up, bruised, stitches. She went through a pretty tough time, but she was okay. But it was one of those key moments. How do you respond to those? I was doing some work in the Midwest, working with a manufacturing company to help build their leadership team. I was talking to a young lady. Her name was Lisa. She had done all this research, and she was looking at different initiatives for manufacturing. She wanted to come up, do a presentation in front of her management team, because she had an idea that would really help improve their effectiveness, their efficiency of their company. So she started looking at it, and she started talking to the manager. She says, how can I do this? Can I come up? And they says, yes, 2 weeks. We have a meeting that you can come. It's a staff meeting. You can come and give your presentation. So she told me, she was sitting there, and she says, Troy, I was ready. She says, I had everything, it was perfect. My presentation was set. Everything was ready to go. The day came, I was dressed for success. I was looking good, I was energetic, I was excited. And when I got up there, I was watching my boss, and he started looking down. He started writing some memos on a pad. Wasn't really paying attention to me. He wasn't engaged. He wasn't making any comments. It was a key moment that she had. She told me, when I got done, she says, as I was watching him, I was confused. I was hurt. I went back to my office. I was pretty unproductive for the rest of the day. I had another coworker come by my office. We belittled him down to nothing, told about his weaknesses, how bad of a manager he was. These key moments that we have significantly affect the impact that we have in life. I want to show you guys using that key moment from that gal Lisa on what impact it had on her life. I don't want to do it with this response chain. When we have these key moments, what is a key moment? A key moment is a challenge. It's a circumstance or event that creates a problem or a challenge and elicits a response. Something that we need to respond to. Something simple. Maybe we're sitting around the breakfast table. My son spills milk on my presentation. It's a key moment for me. Maybe it's a Friday night and I'm returning home from a trip and I hear that my plane has been canceled for my return home. Maybe it was I heard that our company is downsizing and my position is being eliminated. These are key moments that we have. Maybe it was a poor report card that we got from one of our children. It's a key moment that we have in our life. Now, these key moments, one thing that really helped me understand this response chain is that we are emotional people. We have the ability to think logically, but we're not logical people that have emotions. See, when we have these circumstances or these events that come into our life, they come in with the ultimate destination, the prefrontal cortex, right behind the forehead, where the logical part of the brain is. But on the way there, it's hijacked. That moment, that key moment, is hijacked by what's called the amygdala. It's the part of our brain that stores all of our emotions. It's our limbic system. So I was like, oh, aha moment. So what you're telling me is I respond emotionally and then I respond logically. Have you ever done that when you responded to a key moment? Maybe it was inappropriate. Maybe your son or your daughter spilled milk on your presentation and you had an emotional response, and then you're driving to work and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have responded like that. I responded inappropriately. That is a key moment. Once we understand that's how we're wired to respond emotionally. Once we become aware of that, we can take this pathway of success or survival. We understand that key moment. Now the meaning is simple. It's simply the spin that we put on the key moment or that triggering event. It's the way that we make sense of what's going on. So when we look at Lisa, as we were using her for our example, her key moment was when her boss put his head down and didn't make any comments and scribbled some notes on the memo pad. The meaning that she gave it was, you know, I think he wishes he would have hired Jack or Joey, somebody else, but doesn't like what I'm saying. With that meaning, so we have this key moment, we give that moment meaning, then we have feelings. Now there's two types of feelings that we have. We have physical feelings and we have emotional feelings. Now these physical sensations are really about our knees start knocking, we get tense in the shoulders, we get sweaty palms. Then the emotions that we have from these feelings, from the key moment, from the meaning that we have, some of those emotions are anger, maybe sadness, excitement. There's several emotions that goes on, and when we don't understand those emotions, when we ignore those, when we don't try to understand what's going on, that's when our life can take a really tough spiral downward time. That's when alcoholism can creep in, drug abuse, spousal abuse, child abuse. So it's so important that we understand these feelings, and really, they're just a cue. They're trying to tell us, hey, something's going on in your life. You need to stop, back up, and look at what's going on. What's causing you to respond like that? Now, some of the feelings when I was talking to Lisa, she was telling me, she said she got pretty anxious, pretty nauseous. She started to sweat when her boss, with that key moment that she had. Now, these actions, there's choices that follow actions. We have choices that we can make according to the feelings that we have. One of those is we can respond in a positive way, strengthening, or we can respond in a negative way where it's weakening, where we become maybe just a pawn of life. We just let life happen to us. Those actions cause us to have a consequence in life. Those consequences can take us to a pathway of survival, or maybe to a pathway of success. Now, what I want to do is, as we look at this response chain, there's a part of it that I really want to dig into, and it's called this paradigm. Now, a paradigm, I was doing this the other day for a group of people, and I asked them, I says, what is a paradigm? And they really did say, Troy, that's 2 dimes. And I'm like, no, you're close. But a paradigm is really, it's a mental filter in the way that we view the world. See, we don't see the world as it is. We see what we believe, and it's reinforced by our belief system. So this paradigm, it's that mental filter. It's the way we make sense of it. So when you look at this response chain, this is my aha moment. We have this key moment. Now we can see through this response chain, it's easy to say, well, that key moment causes that response. No. No, it's the meaning that we give that key moment as we see it through that paradigm, which is made up from our core beliefs. See, that key moment, that flat tire coming to work, that has no meaning. The meaning is given through the paradigm that we view that moment through. So I was talking to a friend of mine, and his daughter was told, she's in high school, and his daughter was told by a teacher, You know, don't worry about it. You're an average student. Well, now it's created a belief in his daughter's mind. And so later in that semester, she received a D on her Spanish test. And when the father confronted his daughter, he says, "What happened? What's up with the D?" And she says, "Dad, don't worry about it. I'm average. They told me already I'm average." See, our mind functions to look for evidence. It looks for evidence that supports our key moment, that belief that we have. So when the teacher told that student, "Don't worry, you're just an average student," created a belief. These paradigms are made up of our core beliefs. And our mind looks for evidence that supports that belief. Now, so when you have that key moment, remember, it has no meaning. We give it meaning through the paradigm that we view it through. Like this young girl. She looked at that as evidence to support. Some people say, you know, I'm not good enough. I won't find success. Well, sometimes we need to shift our paradigm. It's changing, it's looking, it's evaluating those core beliefs that we have. Now, when I look at these paradigms, there's 4 paradigms that we dominantly live in. One of those, I'm going to start at the bottom because I look at this as kind of a ladder. It's a qualitative type, the steps of life. The bottom rung is fear. So many of us live in this idea, this paradigm of fear. What does fear stand for? False evidence appearing real. Because it's not real. But we live in this paradigm of fear, that paradigm that life is a hassle. We're a victim and we start to blame other people. We don't take responsibility. We try to avoid what's going on. Life really is just a hassle. Have you ever been around those people that they always say, if it's going to happen, it's going to be me. If it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. Those are those people that live in paradigm of fear. Now for Lisa, how did she live? She viewed that situation of her boss looking down. She looked at that through the paradigm of fear. She looked at that, the meaning she gave it is, you know, he must not like me. He doesn't like what I'm saying and wishes he would have hired somebody else. The next one on this ladder to a more qualitative type of life is duty. A lot of us live in this paradigm right here, this paradigm of duty, where really I'm okay if everybody approves what I'm doing. We do it for other people. We don't do it for ourselves. We're okay if we perform to other people's expectations. Now for Lisa, if she were to live her life, if she were to view that incident through this paradigm of duty, she may look at it, you know, it's just a job. It doesn't matter. I'm going to withhold. I'm not going to put myself out there anymore. I don't want to try to get more involved and give a presentation to help the company. This is just a job. I'm not going to worry about it. Now that's how she would view that key moment through this paradigm of duty. Now, when you go to the next level, the next paradigm, it's a paradigm of achievement. It's a little bit higher quality of life. These people, man, they are focused, they are goal-driven, they are go-getters. They're going to make it happen. The problem is they're okay with life when they perform well. These are the people that work 60, 80 hours a week. The problem is they'll do it to the sacrifice of their relationships, maybe with their family, maybe with their friends, maybe with their children. But they do it. They'll do anything they can to achieve the desired goal. The next one, now Lisa, if she was living in that paradigm of achievement, she would really look at that key moment as like, you know, wow, this guy's a jerk. He's not valuing what I say. In fact, you know what? I don't think I'm going to be here much longer. I'm going to go find another job that maybe appreciates me a little bit more. That's somebody that's looking through this paradigm of achievement. Now, this one, this is the level, integrity. When we can reach this paradigm of integrity, I really look at it as when we can go into the bathroom and look in the mirror and say, you know what? I'm okay with you. You worked your best. You did what was right. You lived your life from values. You had integrity. You did what you could. We look at life life is great. I love what's going on. Now, if Lisa were to look at this key moment that she had through this paradigm of integrity, she maybe would have went and confronted her boss and said, hey, I'm just trying to learn more about what you thought of what I presented. Because when Lisa really did finally go talk to this manager, which he actually came to her because he had heard about her confusion. And he says, you know, Lisa, I was writing down everything you said because I believe in what you said. And I like what you've done, and I'd like you to head up the changes that you feel that we need to do. So it's this whole belief system that we have in life. See, our minds are not prisoners of reality, but our beliefs about reality. That will make a big difference in our life. When we start recognizing these key moments that we have, when we start changing our paradigm, if we can change our paradigm simply sometimes just by the words that we use, can have a big impact. You know, I talked to that daughter of the man that was told, you know, you're just an average student. And this is my hope, that we can go home and tell our children, the people that we work with, don't let somebody else's opinion define your reality. People are setting up these belief systems. They're taking away our destinies. When we forfeit it to other people, circumstances, or events, we give it away and we let them determine where we're headed. My hope is that when we decide that your life will not be ultimately shaped by conditions, at that moment, your life will change forever. Thank you, guys.